there isn't really any harbours, either natural or man-made. So they've obviously decided to build this little harbour for fishing boats and for other activities. And you can see how they've done it. They've built 2 breakwaters. The larger breakwater that we're standing on is basically protecting this harbour from the most serious wind direction, because most of our weather and waves comes from that direction, from the southwest. Yeah, so southwest is out there. There's the sun setting in the west. So the worst and most frequent storms with the largest waves will come from that direction. So they built this round there, and then they built a smaller breakwater there to protect from waves coming from that direction. I mean, if you got a storm from the east there, you would still get waves in here, but not as bad as they would be without it. Pretty expensive, I would have thought. It doesn't say how much it costs, but I would have thought this is fairly expensive engineering. You see the way they've done it with a concrete wall and then protected it by these large rocks. These are igneous rocks, and I believe they're from Norway. And you can see how they've been quarried. These marks here are where they've drilled down and blasted to blow them out. I mean, logically you would expect the blocks on the outside, they're going to hit by the larger waves, to be bigger than the ones on the inside. However, they probably just wasn't worth worrying about. They might as well have blocks there. You see over there, they're a little bit smaller on the inside there. So that's how you construct a harbour. But as I say, I did look up how much it cost. It's expensive. It's not done as a, it will be millions, not hundreds of thousands to construct. I don't know. Have a look. Probably more than that, actually. It's quite an expensive process to actually build this wall, because remember, the sea's always around. You've got to actually build it when you need good foundations. You need good foundations. And once they built it, they built this little jetty here, which I think is a fish processing place. Very simple structure. They've just banged these piles into the ground. See these circular piles? They would have just banged them in, braced them, and then constructed the deck on top.
Then you have to make a track just to come here.
Well, no, they would have built the stone.
I think it's more complicated.
Well, once you've actually got the foundation.
Oh, what is the point up there? I'm going to throw you in there.
Every time you look at it, you remember.
Just think it's possibly at low tide and protect them. I can't imagine they would have put a coffer dam all the way around and pumped it out. They might have done it. But working in this sort of environment is always quite expensive. So this is not cheap work. Okay, so that's a new harbour built 8 years ago. Because these sort of places, their economies are fairly, I don't know what the word would be. Fragile is probably the word. They have to maintain decent water quality and a decent beach, because people will go elsewhere, and they've got to try and maintain some sort of economic activity, or else the Isle of Wight will be in worse trouble than it's in already. I mean, it's quite fragile. And of course the whole of Ventnor is basically, everything you see there is gradually slipping down. As you will see tomorrow with when Eddie Gromit shows you some of the features
Keith has talked about water quality. Just over in the mainland there at Lyme Regis, 3 years ago, was a big landslip. And they haven't had a blue flag rating there since, because of all the muck that's come from that landslip into the sea. There's polluted the water. So whether that's been felt on this island, I don't know. I suspect not. But locally, you could spend a lot of money to clean up the quality of the water the other end of the sea, and you have a landslip which then dumps hundreds of thousands of tons of clay, which then ruins your water quality again. And I don't think it's still happening right now.
Which is pretty sad because Lyme Regis, I don't know if you know, Lyme Regis is a place where they did spend an absolute fortune on sewage treatment and collecting sewage, similar to this, but much bigger scheme to actually clean the water in Lyme Regis. So if it's actually been messed up by landslip, that's pretty bad luck, really.
Can those black things we saw on the beach be related to that?
Oh no, the black things on the beach is just a sand that is derived from a darker rock.
Okay.
Probably that lignite stuff. And my guess is that stuff is less dense than the ordinary sand, because that sort of coal-based stuff is much less dense,
Yeah.
and so it forms a layer on top. If you dug down, you just go through a thin layer of black into it. Well, that's my excuse. That's how it works in water treatment works.
Yeah.
The black stuff sits on top of the ordinary because it's less
Yeah.
dense.
What we can contaminate the water?
But it's not.
What's inorganic material?
Sorry?
That's inorganic material. Okay. How can it contaminate?
Sorry.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that place. What would it?
Why did the clay contaminate?
Well, the slip on there was mostly a black clay. It's called black bend. It's an organic, quite organic. It's got very high organic content. But part of the slip is an old Victorian waste dump.
Oh right. Oh, that explains it.
So people were finding lots of nice old jars and bottles on the beach, but amongst that was a whole load of other shit. Which
Yeah.
So it's partly clay, so partly also this domestic waste.
There's somebody about to go swimming.
I got it for long time, man.
What would you do?
Nothing.
What can you do?
What?
What can you do?